This works. Well, greetings and thanks for joining us on this gorgeous Friday. What the heck we're doing? We should be out playing. We'll talk about a lot of interesting stuff today, but it's mostly focused around Sybase ASE and a lot around ASE 15 because we've run into a lot of folks who are struggling a bit getting either AS12 to AS15 done or getting AS15 to work really well once it is migrated. So Jeff's going to give us some really good insights into how that works. The nice thing about mLogica is all the guys who work for mLogica are the guys that did all this stuff for Sybase. And they realize they can go off and do this and make more money. So they start mLogica and they do a great job. What I'll talk about is a lot more exciting. Hardware. And I know that's not exciting to you guys, but I'm sorry. I love this stuff. I got up basically as a W. I was a W when I was 6 years old. I wrote my first program then on a GE 225 in BASIC in 1966. I was just turning 6. And I think that's right. And I've been doing hardware ever since, and I love this stuff. So you're going to have to bear with me. But the reason that I do this is because, quite frankly, down to 2 architectures in the marketplace. That's all that's left. And I say that to people, and they say, well, that can't possibly be true. Yeah, Jock, it is true. I'll tell you a little bit about us. Let me tell you about us. We're ISIS, Integration Systems. We are an IBM business partner. We've been doing this for about 8 years. Before just doing consulting, flying around the world talking to people about the world of technology and where technology was going and what they should expect and trying to add a little bit of common sense to the world. And you see how it works. This is that Intel Windows stuff. I have to apologize for Bill Gates. He hasn't gotten it right yet. And he's been at it a long time. Have you thought about that? How long he's been working at this? So that changes. Nope, that one doesn't change it. Which button changes it, Jeff? Changes what? This one? The one to the right. The right-hand button. Okay. So we're ISIS. We do primarily IBM systems from Intel all the way up to just short of the mainframe, storage and those kinds of things. And we're Unix guys. You should know that about us. We're Unix guys. We're Linux guys, but we're Unix guys. They're all pretty much the same thing now. And you should understand that Unix guys don't do Windows. In fact, we've all decided to move to Macintosh just to get away from Windows, but of course you have to run Windows on Macintoshes, right? We've done a lot of work in this marketplace with a lot of different companies. Most of them are to optimize our infrastructure, and that's kind of what we do the most. But for the most part, it was, up until about 4 or 5 years ago, on the enterprise side. So we worked with databases, we worked with SAPs, we worked with the PeopleSoft, we worked with Oracle Financials. It was kind of that sort of thing. And about 5 years ago, IBM came to us and said, would you guys be interested in coming to New York and getting us into the equity side of the financial markets, the capital side? And we said, absolutely. So we're really involved in the capital space. And part of that is Sybase, because as you probably know, Sybase has a very dominant position in the capital markets on Wall Street. And so we formed this alliance with Sybase and started working with them and been doing some very interesting things ever since. But the most interesting thing is we've been helping companies get off of old technology onto new technology. What do I mean by old technology? Sun. I mean, what else can I say? It's gone. I don't know if you're aware of that. Sun's gone. So when I tell people these are the choices you have, I kind of stretch it. HE is still around, and they're doing a great job on the Intel side. Unisys, to put them up there because we helped them redo their entire design strategy. We told them not to do what they're doing. That's how well I did as a consultant. And Group Bull, I put them up because they have a soft spot in my heart. They sell IBM boxes in France. I did a lot of work with Bull over in France. So I put them up there because they're good guys. Dell I put up there only because everybody recognizes the name. I don't call them a computer company. They're actually a supply chain company. But one of the things they push through their supply chain is computers, so you have to give credit for that. You know, Dell is the only company on the planet that can deliver anything on the entire continent of Africa in 48 hours. Supply chain company. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And then, of course, their Sun, although it's not Sun Microsystems anymore, is it? It's Oracle Microsystems. That's the other choice, but they're running out of things to do. They're running out of technology. They're running out of direction. They're running out of strategy. What they're trying to push now is Fujitsu. This is a good group of guys. There's no question about this. They sell Spark technology, not Sun technology. Their technology didn't come from Sun. It came from a guy named Andy Heller, who was a guy that invented IBM's RS-6000, the RISC chip. And he did a job at IBM, but just didn't quite fit in. So they let him go. He started his own company called HAL Computer. Remember HAL in 2001 Space Odyssey? Okay. HAL Computer, and he decided he was going to out-design Sun, so he designed his own Spark chip. Fujitsu loved it, so they bought his company and adopted his Spark chip, but they couldn't handle him either, so they fired Andy. And we're designing our Andy's chips, not Mr. McNeely's chips, not designed from Sun. All that went to TI. That's why Sun's out of business. TI couldn't build chips for him. Fujitsu is designing and building their own chips. And Fujitsu is not a dual-purpose computing company. Fujitsu is really good at supercomputers. I sell a lot of in Japan. So the chips that they design are designed to do supercomputing. Floating point stuff is great. The SIMD, single instruction, multiple data stuff is really great. They don't do SAP well. They don't do Sybase well. What means compared to the last two architectures.